Welcome to episode 50 of the Reality Podcast. Be sure to hit that subscribe button down below and turn on those bells for all notifications. I want to know, down below in the comment section, I really want to know this. Who are your predictions to win the King of the Ring tournament? Now, obviously, the brackets came out yesterday. As I was going to work, I found out that, the King of the Ring bracket has already came out. Turns out it's Raw on one side and SmackDown on the other. We'll go over the King of the Ring tournament bracket on the podcast today, and I'll give you guys my predictions on who advances and who wins the tournament. Trust me, you guys are going to know what my predictions are for this tournament. I want to start off with this piece of information here that really is going to just trigger people. I don't know how you people feel about this certain individual, but Alexa Bliss, or should I say Alexa Bitch, which I like to call it here. Alexa Bliss wants a match against Trish Stratus. Cry me a fucking river. Trish Stratus had her final match at SummerSlam, quote unquote, final match, because now all of a sudden there's a report going around that Trish was to have one more match. However, losing to Charlotte Flair in Toronto might not be her final chapter as an in-ring competitor if Alexa Bliss has anything to say about it. We previously reported, well, I'm going to read that report next, that Trish Stratus wants to have a match against Alexa Bliss. Why? Can I ask why? This could make up for the fact that Bliss was pulled from her Evolution Tag Team match where she would have gotten to wrestle Trish and Lita. While speaking to Muscle and Fitness, Bliss only had one name to reply when asked what legend she wants to face. This is what Alexa Bliss said, and I quote, Trish Stratus, because I didn't have my match with her at Evolution. End quote. I didn't have my match against Trish Stratus at Evolution. Blow me! Trish Stratus and Alexa Bliss will probably tell a great story in the ring, said no one ever. The unfortunate part is that Trish seems to have retired. You can never say never in World Wrestling Entertainment, though, because if given the right situation, then this match is always possible. I'm going to say this right now to all you Alexa Bliss fans out there. You hear me? You ready? Sit the fuck down. And shut the fuck up on social media. You people are fucking virgins on social media. If you are a fan of Alexa Bliss, I don't give a shit. You're just as bad as she is in the ring. You're just as bad as her. I don't give a fuck who I trigger. I don't give a fuck who I piss off at all. I just wanted to kick off the podcast with this story because, knowing World Wrestling Entertainment and shit, and I'm hearing this rumor going around that they might have an Evolution 2.0. According to, from what I watched on DJ Storms on his fucking Lightning Flash update, they're gonna have an Evolution 2.0. Can I ask why? If that's the case, you should have the all-female SmackDown. I'd rather have the all-female SmackDown than Evolution 2.0. Evolution last year was terrible. People were saying last year that Evolution was one of the best pay-per-views in the entire year. How? Can I sit there and ask how? Can I sit here and ask how? What was so special about Evolution? The only match on that card that was good in my honest opinion was Becky and Charlotte, last woman standing. That was the best match of the entire card. Fuck Nikki Bella. Fuck Nia Jax for winning that fucking Battle Royal. Who cares? They had the finals, I believe, of the Mae Young Classic last year. I think they had the finals last year of the Mae Young Classic. I think they did. Which nobody cared. What you want me to tell you? Do I want to see a Evolution 2.0? No. Do I want to see a Alexa Bliss, Alexa Bitch versus Trish Stratus match? No. If that's the case, I'd rather see Sasha. I'd rather see Sasha Banks against Trish Stratus. Fuck that bitch and Alexa Bliss. Fuck that bitch. Hey, Cyrex, was that good for you, bro? Let me know if that was good for you there. Who wants to see this match? Can I ask who? Oh, yeah. All the Alexa Bliss fans, all the iconic fans who don't know what to do with their lives on social media on a daily basis. Who gives a fuck? If you put Alexa Bliss versus Trish Stratus in the ring, I swear to God, I'm going to sleep. I have my NyQuil ready. I have my fucking Yankee blanket ready and my nice fluffy pillow. Nice and ready. If you're looking forward to this matchup, there's no saving you whatsoever. There really isn't. And out of all people, I understand Charlotte got a match against Trish because they had no plans for Charlotte. That I understand. But you're giving us an Alexa Bliss match against Trish Stratus? When you couldn't just give us Sasha versus Trish? That's the dream match right there, folks. And to be honest with you, how come Charlotte got to face Trish before Sasha Banks did? You could have easily booked Sasha versus Trish last year at Evolution. I think that match would have been better, low-key, on that card last year. Now, and then on top of that, Sasha turned heel. Sasha has turned heel. I would love to see a heel Sasha versus Trish. I would love to see that matchup, but don't give me a Alexa Bliss match versus fucking Trish Stratus. Who the fuck wants to see that match? Who? Who in their right frame of mind wants to see this match? If you want to see this match, you have a personal problem up here, buddy. Fuck Alexa Bliss. Fuck Alexa Bliss fans. And if you're mad and triggered, blow me. Blow me. Think I give a fuck about your feelings? No, I don't. No, I don't. I wanted to kick off the podcast with this piece of information because A, who gives a fuck about Alexa Bliss? B, who wants to see a Alexa Bliss Trish Stratus match? And C, wouldn't you rather see a Trish Stratus versus Sasha Banks match? What match sounds better? Sasha and Trish or Alexa and Trish? You let me know. You let me know. This is episode number 50 of the Reality Podcast. If you guys don't know who I am, I'm your boy Chris. Thank you guys so much for tuning back into the channel on this Saturday, August 17th, 2018. Thank you guys so much for tuning back into the channel. If you guys are enjoying the content so far, hit that thumbs up. Leave a comment down below. What are your predictions of the King of the Ring tournament? We're going to go over the bracket. I have the bracket right here on my OBS. We're going to go over the entire bracket and my predictions on who wins the entire tournament and who I think will win the tournament. Also, if you guys are new to the channel, be sure to show your support by hitting that subscribe button down below. Turn on those bells, guys, for all notifications. SummerSlam review live on the channel right now, as well as Monday Night Raw review, SmackDown live review, NXT review as well, and episode 49 of the Reality Podcast that was live yesterday on the channel. Be sure to hit up all these videos, leave a like, comment, and subscribe to all these videos. That'll be in the annotation above that you see in the upper right hand corner of your screen. This is the official home of the Reality Podcast, so make sure you are connected with me on social media. Twitter, Chris from Loring, and Snapchat, Chris was Hayden. And like I said, if you guys are enjoying the content, be sure to show your support by hitting that subscribe button down below and turn on those bells, guys, for all notifications. Monday, we do Raw review here. Tuesday, SmackDown live review. Wednesday, NXT review. Thursday, episode of Crash Team Racing, Nitro Fuel Road to Glory, which I've been slacking on, I apologize. And Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we have episodes of the Reality Podcast right here on the channel. Let's go over the King of the Ring bracket, plus some news and rumors right here on the channel. We're going to start off the podcast here with the King of the Ring bracket being revealed. Now, what was entertainment is bringing back the King of the Ring this year, and there are already people who are betting on who is going to win. Now we know what matches we can expect to see. The 2019 King of the Ring tournament will kick off next week on Raw, and it looks like the company will be keeping the two brands separate throughout this new incarnation of the Classic tournament. Good. As you should. because Raw is on one side of the bracket and SmackDown is on the other. It's very interesting how they paired up Chad Gable and Shelton Benjamin in the first round, because those two have the lowest betting odds to win the entire tournament. Obviously, now that the brackets are released, those betting odds are going to change slightly. It looks like World Wrestling Entertainment has some really good matches in the first round alone. Therefore, this should be an exciting build towards Clash of Champions on September 15th, where a new King of the Ring will be crowned. Let's go over the bracket, shall we? Oh, there it is. Let that transition. Good. Now, look at the bracket. Obviously, there's Raw on one side and SmackDown on the other, as it should be. Good, because if you are on Monday Night Raw and you win the tournament, you probably get a future Universal Championship match in the future. Or if you're a SmackDown superstar and you win the tournament, you get a future WWE Championship match. Now, we don't know what the winner of the tournament will get. Now, this is just speculation here. And like I said, if you're a Raw superstar and you win the tournament, you get a future Universal Championship match. If you're a SmackDown superstar and you win the tournament, you get a future WWE Championship match. They can do that. That's fine with me. They can do that. Let's go over the bracket here. Let's start on Raw side. Let's start on Monday Night Raw side. So we got Ricochet versus Drew McIntyre. Some money match there, low key. Well, if you really want to build up Drew, but then again, you got to build up Ricochet. This is just a toss-up. But if I have to pick one, it'll probably be Drew McIntyre. So Drew McIntyre, for me, will advance to the next round. Cesaro versus Samoa Joe. Now, Joe turned babyface, I believe, a couple weeks ago. Now he's back into a heel. I think so. I think he went back to a heel. I don't know. I haven't been watching Raw for the last 2 weeks because, I don't care. I don't care. Cesaro, he's great in the ring. I can see Cesaro winning this tournament. I can see Cesaro going all the distance and win the entire tournament. I can. But if I was to pick one here, I would have Samoa Joe. So Samoa Joe will go on to the next round against Drew McIntyre. Cedric Alexander versus Sami Zayn. This is really predictable. I have Cedric Alexander winning over Sami Zayn. So Cedric will move on to the next round. Miz and Corbin. I would have Corbin. So the Raw semifinals, if you really can count the semifinals, because you have the Raw finals next. So the Raw semifinals is going to be Samoa Joe versus Drew McIntyre and Cedric Alexander versus Baron Corbin. Let's go to SmackDown side. KO versus Elias. I have KO winning. Simple. Easy. But knowing Shane McMahon and shit, KO will probably get fucked over this matchup and have Elias win. So if anything, if KO doesn't win, then Elias will win. So if I have to pick one, I'll probably have to pick KO on this one. So KO will move on to the next round. Buddy Murphy versus Ali. Now that's a money match. That is a money match there. I would have picked Buddy Murphy. Because simple. Ali is most likely going to go after the IC title against Nakamura. So there's no point for Ali to be in the King of the Ring finals when he's feuding for the IC title. So by default and by logic, Buddy Murphy will advance to the next round where he faces KO in Kevin Owens. Chad Gable versus Shelton Benjamin, or should I say Shorty G over Shelton Benjamin. I would have, simple, I would have Benjamin over. I would have no, matter of fact, I'm picking Chad Gable. I'm picking Gable. He'll have the upset victory over Shelton Benjamin, or should I say Sheldon. If you watch SpongeBob, Sheldon Plankton. Just wanted to point that out there. Funny, just saying. Apollo Crews versus Andrade Cien Almas. There's no question there. I have Andrade winning. So on the SmackDown semifinals, I have Kevin Owens versus Buddy Murphy and Chad Gable versus Andrade Cien Almas in the SmackDown semifinal. Now, let's go to the Raw semifinal. Samoa Joe versus Drew McIntyre. I have Drew McIntyre winning. Drew McIntyre over Samoa Joe. So Drew McIntyre will go to the Raw finals. And Cedric Alexander versus Baron Corbin, I would have Cedric Alexander win. So in my Raw finals, I have Cedric Alexander versus Drew McIntyre. That's your Raw final. SmackDown semifinals. Kevin Owens versus Buddy Murphy. I have KO winning this over Buddy Murphy. And Andrade versus Chad Gable. I have Andrade singing Amish. So my SmackDown finals will be Kevin Owens against Andrade. Raw final. Drew versus Cedric. We've seen this match on Raw just this past week. People were telling me this match is good. I think this match will be better than the one that they had on Raw this past Monday. This time with Drew winning. This time with Drew winning again. I have Drew over Cedric this time around. Well, Drew did beat Cedric on Raw on Monday night. I'm going to have Drew beat Cedric again. So Drew will make the finals. He'll go to Classic Champions, where he faces the winner of Kevin Owens versus Andrade. And I have I have KO winning this. I have KO winning this. So my finals of the King of the Ring tournament at Classic Champions would be Drew McIntyre versus Kevin Owens. I bet you money. Now I'm going to go back to myself here. I guarantee you, if we get Drew McIntyre versus Kevin Owens in the finals, we're going to have Shane McMahon come in at some way, some point during this match. Now, this can go either two ways. We get Drew versus KO at Classic Champions, with the winner becoming King of the Ring. Shane is going to cost Kevin Owens in the finals, giving it to Drew. Or, and I can completely see this happen. Now, I don't want anybody thinking about this. I don't want anybody having some type of disease after I'm about to tell you this. So, if you're drinking, or you're eating, or you're doing something, hurry the fuck up. You got 5 seconds before I even continue this. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just when KO is about to show off first match against Drew McIntyre, he gets attacked. He gets attacked by Elias and Shane, or should I say Elias and the Revival, stuff like that. I would have KO get attacked. KO was going to get attacked by Elias and the Revival, stuff like that. Shane's lackeys, just put it like that. Shane's lackeys. I would have Drew come out. Shane comes out. Shane is going to take Drew McIntyre's spot. Drew is going to lay down on the floor and have Shane pin Drew 1, 2, 3, and Shane wins the King of the Ring tournament, taking Kevin Owens' spot. I know, I just gave you guys nightmares. I know. I gave you guys nightmares. I know. I apologize. But when it comes to fucking Vince and World Wrestling Entertainment, you have to think about stuff like this. Because knowing Shane McMahon, he's going to get a push. And there were reports going around during the summer that Shane was going to get a WWE Championship match. There were rumors going around the early months of the summer that Shane was going to get a WWE Championship match. Shane is already calling himself the best in the world. And by the way, folks, if you people think that Shane McMahon is legitimately the best in the world, you are sick in the fucking head. You're sick in the head. You're sick in the head. Knowing Vince, he'll book Shane to win the fucking finals of the King of the Ring tournament because of what happened at Crown Jewel when they made the fucking World Cup tournament to crown the best in the world. If they did it to Shane back then at fucking Crown Jewel, they're going to do it to him at the King of the Ring. I guarantee you, scenario 2 happens. Where KO gets attacked by Elias and the Revival to a point where KO can't make it. So Drew has to find somebody else. Or creative or management is going to have to give Drew McIntyre an opponent. It's going to be Shane. Meanwhile, Drew is probably going to lay down, have Shane pin him 1, 2, 3. And Shane wins the entire tournament without even laying a fucking finger. Guarantee you that happens. I guarantee you, folks, that happens. And when that happens, I swear to God, I'm going to shit all over this. Guarantee it. I guarantee you, folks, I will shit all over this. Because A, it's not necessary, and B, who gives a fuck about Shane McMahon? If you are a fan of Shane McMahon, you must have a fucking problem. If you are a fan of Shane McMahon, you get no pussy. If you are a fan of Shane McMahon, your parents might not even love you at all. I don't give a fuck. I really don't. I really don't. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a shit whatsoever. I don't give a shit whatsoever. Speaking of me giving a shit, which most things I don't, I give a shit about NXT. I give a shit about NXT. WWE is considering USA for NXT's new home. I wonder why. I wonder why. WWE is obviously paying attention to AEW. You mean to tell me that now? WWE is obviously paying attention to All Elite Wrestling, and they are seeking out a big way to split pro wrestling fans right down the middle. Now, the company might have an even better idea, because although FS1 might have been in consideration for NXT's new home, the USA Network is an even better option. I wonder why. Please tell me, folks. I wonder why. You wonder why. Dave Meltzer revealed on Wrestling Observer Radio that World Wrestling Entertainment is heavily thinking about moving NXT to the USA Network. This would be a live 2-hour Wednesday night show to directly compete with AEW on TNT. It's the AEW effect, folks. If you do not think that the AEW effect is real, you're not watching the product right. That's A. B, you're not paying attention to what's going on right now. You're not. This is what Dave Meltzer said, I quote. So it went from FS1 to FS1, or USA to maybe USA, Wednesday 8 p.m. Eastern to 10 p.m. Eastern still. The word that I heard is that they're trying to get the jump, which means it will start before October 2nd. Whereas before, I think it was starting on October 2nd on FS1, and FS1 was going to be the problem with the Big East basketball. I don't know what USA schedule is like, so it's all in play. But yeah, I mean, we expect that announcement real soon, end quote. It was noted that USA Network is a different dynamic for NXT than FS1 will be. USA Network is in more homes, but FS1 is more of a sports-centered channel, and World Wrestling Entertainment will also have the assistance of Fox Promotion. This could be very interesting to see what World Wrestling Entertainment ends up doing, but it looks like they're going to go directly at AEW in this regard. So we'll be looking at a Wednesday Night War for real between USA Network and TNT once again if this deal goes through. I told you, folks, the AEW effect is real. This is all about the AEW effect. It's what it is. That's exactly what it is. There's no other reason behind it. Now, in the beginning, when we found out that NXT was going to move to Fox Sports 1 with Triple H taking over, we loved it. We loved that idea. Fine. Now, from what reports go around saying that Vince is going to be more involved in NXT and that Vince is going to have some main roster talent go down to NXT, don't make that move. Don't. Now, with NXT possibly going to the USA Network, I've said this before for Fox Sports 1, and I'm going to say it again for the USA Network. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. If it ain't broke, folks, don't fix it. It's just that simple. Triple H, the way he's running NXT, is just perfect enough. If you put Vince McMahon and the main roster talent to come down to NXT and compete with All Elite Wrestling, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. If you put Vince and the main roster talent down to NXT and have Vince have more influence on NXT, You have already lost the war before the war even starts. Believe me when I say, if you want NXT to be successful over All Elite Wrestling, Triple H has to be involved with everything NXT. It's not fair to Triple H that, oh, Vince wants more influence on NXT when Triple H can't even when Triple H cannot even take control of Raw and SmackDown put together. We all know, and I said this again, I've said this numerous times here on the podcast, and I have to say it again. You think that Vince McMahon cares about All Elite Wrestling? No. You think Vince is fucking gonna care about everything that All Elite Wrestling does? Yes, he's gonna care about it. It's competition. It's all in the competition, folks. It's all in the competition. It's all in the competition. Believe me when I say this. It's all in the competition. You think for a second, if Vince even tries to compete with All Elite Wrestling, Vince will lose? Yes. Because Vince is delusional. Vince is a fucking idiot. Now, to the fucking idiots out there, people think that Vince is a fucking genius. Back then, yes. But now, in this generation of wrestling, no. You know who's the genius in this generation of wrestling? Triple H. Look at every single takeover since he's had full control of NXT. Look at all the takeovers. Look at all the storylines that we was invested in. The Gargano Ciampa storyline. The Gargano Cole storyline. Who attacked Aleister Black. Bobby Roode's title reign. Nakamura and Joe. Balor and Joe. Sasha and Bayley. Sasha and Bayley. Come on, folks. You really think that Triple H wants to be, you know, in control of Raw and SmackDown? I know he's itching for it. I would too. Because Raw and SmackDown certainly need change, while NXT has to stay the way it is. If you want NXT to be completely successful over AEW on the Wednesday Night Wars, you gotta have Triple H take complete control of NXT. Triple H has to have a voice to Vince. Triple H has to tell Vince, listen, you've been killing Raw and SmackDown. Do not come to my house. Do not come to my brand. Kill my guys and girls and ride this fucking ship to the fucking ground. It's completely fucking true. If I'm Triple H, I'm voicing my opinion on Vince, and if he doesn't like it, tell him to suck his dick. Simple. Simple. I've said this before, I'm going to say it again. If it ain't broke when it comes to NXT, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Leave it how NXT is. If you have Vince and the main roster talent come out of NXT and even touch Full Sail University, NXT is going to get killed. Faster than he can fucking blink. Faster than what Triple H has done in NXT over the past 6 to 7 years. Believe me, if Vince takes over NXT, he will kill NXT this fucking quick. People don't believe me about that? Wait till it happens. Wait till it happens. There's more news on WWE's reported plans for moving NXT to the USA Network. This news broke out yesterday. NXT is in a very interesting situation right now because it was previously stated that they were moving to Fox Sports 1. However, it seems that an even better option has opened up. We previously reported that World Wrestling Entertainment is now considering moving NXT to the USA Network. This would be a Wednesday night 2-hour show to directly compete with All Elite Wrestling on TNT. Now, I forgot to mention this also in the last report. Why put NXT 2 hours? Why put NXT 2 hours? NXT does not have to be 2 hours. The most NXT can do, if I was to put NXT on the USA Network and I'm giving it a time slot, we all know AEW and on TNT is going to go 2 hours. Why even go 2 hours? Can I just ask, why even go 2 hours? If you're going to go 2 hours, I would have put the women on first and then the guys on the second half of the show. Because you don't want to put, and like I said, this is what makes NXT special. Not everybody has to be featured on NXT. Just how everybody is not featured on TakeOver. You don't see Dominik Dijakovic being featured on a TakeOver. You don't see people like Keith Lee being featured at a TakeOver. You don't see people like Damian Priest being featured on NXT TakeOver. You don't see Adam Cole every week on NXT. You don't see Velveteen Dream featured every week on NXT. You don't see the Street Profits featured every single week on NXT. Keep the mystique strong. When they show up, when people like Cole and Undisputed Era and Dream and the Street Profits and Gargano and Shayna Baszler, it's important when they show up. When they show up, that means something is in the works. They got to keep like this if NXT is moving to the USA Network. Keep the mystique going. Just like how I reported on the podcast yesterday that World Wrestling Entertainment is going to keep Bray Wyatt's character special. Keep the mystique strong. When Bray Wyatt shows up, it's important. When Bray Wyatt shows up, we don't expect it. We don't expect it, which is good. Expect the unexpected. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. Dave Meltzer went on to expand on some of the big decisions that WWE has to make during Wrestling Observer Radio, because WWE has a lot of things they need to hammer down before making a big decision about moving NXT. This is what Dave Meltzer said, and I quote, WWE fans are now, well, they are more familiar with watching USA than FS1, so that is another thing that leads to the USA Network's favor. Do they go live every week? Do they go live every other week? Both have been discussed, but there will be a live component for sure. Do they continue with another hour on the network, on which would mean 3 hours of NXT a week, which is starting to stretch it and will burn things out? Or do they drop the network and the WWE Network subscribers are going to be unhappy? What do they do about international? Because this is coming up. End quote. One thing we know for sure is that NXT will have a live component. There are a lot of questions right now about NXT, especially considering this big of a change. However, it looks like World Wrestling Entertainment is really focusing their energy on counter-programming AEW, even though Triple H made a very clear point to say that NXT had Wednesday nights first. Now, I have the network. I've had the network since its birth, back in February of 2014. I've had it ever since. I've been a network subscriber for 5 years now. For 5 years straight. I've paid $9.99 for 5 straight years. NXT is one of the main reasons why I have the network. It's either I have the network for NXT, or do I have the network to watch, back in the day pay-per-views, like, King of the Ring 98. Whenever I used to do Throwback Thursdays, I would watch the pay-per-view and then come over here and review the show. By the way, do you guys miss Throwback Thursdays? Do you guys miss Throwback Thursdays? Let me know. Do you guys miss Throwback Thursday? Just let me know. Just let me know. NXT is one of the big reasons why I have the network. I watch it. I watch NXT every single week. I review the show every single week. When I have content on the network, you guys get content on the channel. Just that easy. Now, would I want NXT to go live? Yeah. I would love NXT to go live. I really would. But having them go 2 hours, that's just stretching it. And also for what Dave Meltzer said, they can go 3 hours. Why don't you put 1 hour on USA and then 1 hour on the network? Because, and on top of that, what I just said is a really good idea. What if you have the first hour, you want to keep it 2 hours? You can put NXT during the first hour on USA Network. And then for the second half, on the second hour, if you have the network, you can tune in on the network and watch the other half of NXT. At the same time, if you keep NXT to do 2 hours, you can certainly do that, because, like I said, you could put USA on the first hour for NXT, and the second hour put it on the network. So in case if, people are watching it on the USA Network and they don't have the network, they can get the network for free for their first month and get NXT right there and then. At the same time, I think it'll be a smart move because you want to get more subscribers on the network for the insurmountable of content that they have on the network, which is really, really great. I love the content on the network. I love it. I love it. I think they should do that. I think they really should do that. It gets more eyes on NXT. It gets more eyes on the network. At the same time, you want to have more subscribers. So I have 1 hour on USA, the first hour, and the second hour, you can put it on the network. I would love that idea. I would. I would be down if NXT was 2 hours, but that's only if they go down that concept, which I think they should, which is a really fantastic idea, in my honest opinion. How long am I in here? 35 minutes in so far. What was some other news that I have here? I don't really know what to do that. I went over that yesterday. There's NXT spoilers out right now, which I'm not gonna go over because I don't want to spoil it. Not only for myself, but I don't want to spoil it for anybody else. But NXT did have spoilers from August 21st, which is next Wednesday, to September 11th of 2019, which they got to do the other half going into TakeOver War Games in Chicago during WrestleMania weekend. Now, because of NXT possibly being moved to the USA Network, WWE bringing NXT to Fox Sports 1 isn't even a sure thing. Isn't even a sure thing. WWE has a lot of options with their new Fox deal, and this could certainly include bringing NXT to Fox Sports 1, which I just heard, which we read. It could go to USA Network. That was reportedly the plan, but no deal is official just yet. Mike Johnson stated on the PW and Sound Elite Audio that WWE's plan to move NXT to Wednesday night is just a plan at this point. They might want to live to want to live. I apologize. They want a live 2-hour program on FS1, but might not happen until November. This is what Mike Johnson said, and I quote, "There has been a pitch to do NXT live from Full Sail every Wednesday, possibly starting in October, possibly starting it in November. They just don't have a deal done, and I'm not saying the deal will ever get done, but there has been enough talk in the company about what we're doing or going to do, and this is what the plans will be. But people that you know would think would know. Yes, this is a done deal. Don't. It's still something that's being discussed." End quote. WWE obviously was NXT on Fox Sports 1 at this point, and putting them on Wednesday nights will be a great strategy. After all, they are directly counter-programming AEW television show, even though Triple H said NXT had Wednesdays first. I would just put the USA low-key. USA has more eyes. Even though Fox Sports 1 is more of a sports-centered type program, people are already used to the USA Network. They're already used to it. So in my honest opinion, I would just put it on the USA Network and not put it on Fox Sports 1. I really wouldn't do that. Speaking of changing, WWE could be changing a superstar's name. Remember how I mentioned that Chad Gable was going to have his name changed? This is the report. WWE will sometimes change up a superstar's name for any number of reasons. One big reason for a name change is because Vince McMahon wants it to happen. Mike Johnson noted on the PW Insider Elite Audio that Chad Gable could be in line for a new name soon enough, because World Wrestling Entertainment filed for a trademark on a new name, and some very interesting verbiage during SmackDown Live would lead some to believe this change is on the way. The future, well, this is what Mike Johnson said, and I quote, "The future of Chad Gable might be obscured a bit. There was a promo that they released after SmackDown with Shelton Benjamin talking about King of the Ring, and Chad Gable was standing next to him. He said, 'Hey, Sheldon, what's up?' Sheldon looked at him and said, 'Shorty,' and walked away. We noted a couple weeks ago that World Wrestling Entertainment has copyrighted the name called Shorty G. Shorty G. For a potential character. If Chad Gable is going to be Shorty G, if that's where they're going with it, I don't sense a bunch of upward mobility in his future with his character." End quote. Changing Chad Gable's name to Shorty G might not be the change in direction some fans were hoping for him, but any attention is better than nothing at this point. Gable has consistently been someone who brought it in the ring, but he's been greatly overlooked. I don't need a report to tell me that. That is completely true, though. Perhaps a name change will grow on fans, and he'll be able to make it work. Then again, maybe Vince McMahon will change his mind and just let Chad Gable wrestle instead. If they change his name to Shorty G, I swear to God, I'm going to fuck off. Chad Gable, he deserves a lot more than what he's getting right now. He deserves a whole lot better than what he's getting now. And you know what's so funny? When I was at work earlier, Cyrex sent me this, and this is fucking hilarious. That is just fucking hilarious. No cap. Look at that. That piff. Shorty G career ending. This is a mixtape cover album. That's just fucking hilarious. No cap. Cyrex is one funny dude, bro. I swear to God. Cyrex is just one funny dude. Shorty G. I want to see how long that lasts, low key. I really want to see how long that lasts. I really, really do. What else do I have here? I'm only 41 minutes in. Do I end it here? Or do I have any more news here? Because I really want to save some for Sunday. I really do want to save some for Sunday. I do have this, though. I do have this piece of information, but we already know that already. But I might as well just read it to you anyways. Possible huge spoiler for Raw next week. Get this match up, folks. Get this match. I'm fucking sweating here. It's hot as fuck here in my room. I have to put the fan on. Give me a freaking second, folks. I have to put the fan on. There you go. There you go. Now I feel more refreshed. There you go. I feel a little more refreshed. WWE has already booked a big title match for Raw next week out of the SummerSlam aftermath. Braun Strowman will be gunning for AJ Styles' United States title, but the Monster Among Men already seemingly has a match slated for Classic Champions. Give me the NyQuil. Give me a soft memory foam pillow and a nice soft blanket with water on the side with ice on it, and I'll be completely fine. We previously reported, and I read this yesterday, that Strowman versus Seth Rollins is penciled in for the Classic Champions event in Charlotte in a match for the Universal title. However, Strowman has a very interesting chance to become a champion before Classic Champions even rolls around. It was noted on the Wrestling Observer newsletter, hear this. It was noted on the Wrestling Observer newsletter that Strowman should, quote unquote, should win the U.S. title on Monday. If that doesn't happen, to set up a U.S. champion versus Universal champion match to Classic Champions, then the OC is likely to get involved and cause the Architects' involvement that way. This is what I'm just going to get. This is what Dave Meltzer said, and I quote. Braun Strowman really should win the title here, although they can always have him have Styles down. Have Gallows and Anderson running for the DQ, and have Rollins save him to return the favor from this past week. End quote. Things could get very unpredictable on Raw. I mean, so when it comes to Monday Night Raw and unpredictable, those two words don't flesh together. They really don't. Especially with Paul Heyman as executive director of the show. We'll have to wait and see how everything pans out, but this Monday might be a very good time to start tuning in to Raw. If you're falling out of viewing the longest running weekly episodic television show in history. I've said this after SummerSlam. I said this on SummerSlam review. Rollins has to turn heel. Now, I don't know how you people feel about Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman is nothing but a novelty act. He only performs good when it comes to gimmick matches, like Last Man Standing, steel cage matches, stuff like that. Braun is only good when he destroys stuff. It's only entertainment when Braun destroys stuff. Yeah, sure, it's good television, but Braun can't wrestle, in my honest opinion. Now, two things have to happen here before Clash of Champions. Obviously, somebody has to turn heel. Does Strowman turn heel? Or does Seth Rollins turn heel? I can see Rollins turn heel. I certainly can. Strowman as a heel, we've already seen it already. Back in 2017. We've already seen it already. And look how that turned out. Strowman hasn't even won a championship yet in WWE. Well, he did win the he did win the Raw Tag Team titles with Nicholas back at WrestleMania last year, which I don't even count. He won a Raw Tag Team title with a 10-year-old boy. No, I think he looked, 12, 13, 14-year-old boy at WrestleMania last year. Who cares about Braun Strowman? Do they give Strowman the Universal title at Clash of Champions? That's something you got to think about. Because with this whole Brock Lesnar winning the Money in the Bank contract, then him to cash in at Extreme Rules only to lose it a few weeks later at SummerSlam, maybe Rollins loses it to Lesnar. Maybe Rollins loses it to Strowman at Clash of Champions. I don't know. I said this on the podcast. I said this on Raw. I said this on Raw Review. I said this on SummerSlam Review. The only person, that's if, and this is only if they do not go with the Raw and SmackDown dynamic at Survivor Series. If they do not go with the Raw and SmackDown dynamic at Survivor Series, the only person that's going to take the Universal Championship off of Seth Rollins is Bray Wyatt. Now you got from after SummerSlam, which was August 12th, all the way to Survivor Series weekend to build up Bray Wyatt. Now I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, use Bray Wyatt every single week and build them up. No, that's gonna kill Bray Wyatt to a point where people don't want to see him. Build him up. Build up Bray Wyatt. And then when he's ready for the Universal Championship, you have him beat Rollins quick. But Strowman versus Rollins at Clash of Champions for the Universal Championship, who gives a fuck? Who gives a fuck? Who gives a single solitary fuck? I'm probably gonna end the podcast with this piece of information, with this last piece of information here. There was a report that I found about Bray Wyatt's merchandise going up. Oh, and I have it right here. There you go. Bray Wyatt's sales percentages skyrocketed after SummerSlam. I'll end the podcast with this report. Bray Wyatt's big return to World Wrestling Entertainment has been followed with plenty of merchandise too. Now, it looks like Wyatt is going to be rolling in royalty checks soon enough. Brad Shepard reported on the All You Didn't Know podcast that Bray Wyatt's merchandise money increased by 200%. This is a huge jump, but you also have to consider the fact that he went inactive for a long time, and during that period, his sales might have slumped considerably. This is what Brad Shepard said, I quote, Bray Wyatt's puppets, gloves, and the new box package have been selling extremely well. In fact, there's already approximately a 200% increase in his merchandise sales since they started offering those items, end quote. There doesn't seem to be anything holding Bray Wyatt's popularity back at this point. He is selling out exclusive items in record time and has a line of puppets now, including the one that looks like an evil Vince McMahon, which I will obviously buy when it comes out. I'm going to buy that evil Vince McMahon puppet when it comes out, and I'm going to use it on the podcast. And I'm also going to buy Rambling Rabbit and the mask and the gloves with the heel hurt gloves. I'm going to buy that as well. This is a very good position for him to be in, especially since he has a new baby at home. Good. This is good shit. This is absolutely good shit. Vince is gonna sit there and he's gonna realize. Vince is gonna sit there and he's gonna realize that Bray Wyatt, and I said this on the podcast yesterday. I said it yesterday on Friday on episode 49. I said that Vince is gonna realize that Bray Wyatt's merchandise sales has gone up tremendously a lot. And Vince is gonna see how people are invested in this Bray Wyatt Fiend character. To a point where Vince has to push Bray Wyatt. He has to skyrocket Bray Wyatt straight to the top. And I said this earlier. If they do not do the Raw versus SmackDown dynamic for Survivor Series, I would have Bray Wyatt beat Seth Rollins at Survivor Series in Chicago in front of that smart-ass crowd, where Rollins getting booed and Wyatt getting cheered as if the Chicago Bears won the fucking Super Bowl. And I have Bray Wyatt beat Seth Rollins in convincing fashion and win the Universal Championship. That's what I'm doing. And TM has said this, and I completely agree with the shit that he says. If you do not give Bray Wyatt the Universal Championship in 2019, this character is already a fail. And I truly expect Bray Wyatt to walk in to WrestleMania 36 in Tampa as Universal Champion. Against who? I don't know. I don't know. But that's what I would do with Bray Wyatt. I would just skyrocket him up to a point where he can't go down. I would book Bray Wyatt to a point where he is unstoppable. To a point where he can't be beat. He can't. I love Bray Wyatt. I'm invested in his character. I'm definitely going to buy the gloves, the heel love gloves. I'm definitely going to buy his mask. I'm definitely going to buy Rambling Rabbit for the podcast. And I'm definitely going to use the evil Vince McMahon puppet on the podcast to even imitate him on the podcast. I think it'll be good entertainment if that's the case there. So there you guys go. And that, folks, is the reality of things. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed episode 50 of the Reality Podcast, smash that like button. Leave a comment down below. What are your predictions of the 2019 King of the Ring tournament? And also, if you guys are new to the channel, be sure to show your support by hitting that subscribe button down below and turn on those balls, guys, for notifications. SummerSlam review live on the channel right now. Link to this video will be in the annotation above that you see on the upper right hand corner of your screen. Check out Monday Night Raw review. Sasha Banks has finally turned heel. Raw review will be in the annotation above that you see on the upper right hand corner of your screen. Check out SmackDown Live review as well from this past Tuesday. Buddy Murphy finally makes his SmackDown Live debut. Link to this video will be in the annotation above that you see on the upper right hand corner of your screen. Check out NXT review from this past Wednesday. Breezango returns plus the NXT Breakout Tournament Finals. Link to this video will be in the annotation above that you see on the upper right hand corner of your screen. And also episode 49 of the Reality Podcast, where we go over news on Bray Wyatt on World Wrestling Entertainment. Keeping his, well, the news over there back on episode 49 is that World Wrestling Entertainment reportedly wants to keep Bray Wyatt's character special, as they should. Link to episode 49 of the podcast will be in the annotation above that you see on the upper right hand corner of your screen. This is the official home of the Reality Podcast, so make sure you are connecting with your boy Chris on social media. Twitter, Chris from Loring. Snapchat, Chris Most Hated. And like I said, if you guys are enjoying the content, be sure to show your support by hitting that subscribe button down below. Turn on those balls, guys, for notifications. Monday, we do Raw review. Tuesday, SmackDown Live review. Wednesday, NXT review. Thursday, Crash Team Racing Nitro Fuel Road to Glory episodes. And Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, you guys will get episodes of the Reality Podcast. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for episode 51 of the Reality Podcast, where we go over the rest of the news and rumors right here on the podcast. Until then, I am Christopher. Like, comment, subscribe, and share the video all over social media. I'll see you guys tomorrow for episode 51 of the Reality Podcast. Until then, I am Chris. Talk to you guys later.